The 1974 U.S. dime, a small, unassuming coin, minted in the heart of a decade brimming with change. In the early 1970s, the United States was navigating turbulent waters. The Vietnam War was drawing down, Watergate was unfolding, and the economy was grappling with inflation and uncertainty. Yet amidst this backdrop of national upheaval, the quiet minting of everyday coins continued, unnoticed by most, with millions upon millions of dimes struck and scattered across the country. The 1974 dime bore the familiar visage of Franklin D. Roosevelt, honoring the former president whose legacy in the fight against polio and leadership through World War II had earned a permanent place on the 10-cent piece since 1946. Minted primarily at Philadelphia and Denver, with the D mint mark denoting the Denver facility, these coins rolled into circulation as routine as the changing seasons. But something was amiss. No one could have foreseen the subtle flaw lurking on a fraction of these dimes, hidden in plain sight, overlooked by the vast majority of those who passed them from hand to hand. The error was not blatant like a missing face or inverted design, but something far more elusive, an anomaly only the keenest eyes or the luckiest hands would catch. This was a story that would unravel slowly, with whispers in collector circles before exploding into a fervor that would challenge assumptions about value, rarity, and the nature of mistakes. Among those who caught the first hint of something unusual was a collector named James, an avid numismatist who spent his weekends sifting through boxes of circulated coins, searching not for face value but for stories. James was no stranger to errors or misprints, having unearthed minor variations in the past. But when a 1974 dime surfaced in his collection, with an odd feature of faint doubling on Roosevelt's profile and the date, he paused. The doubling was subtle but undeniable. The rim of the coin also appeared slightly misaligned, a telltale sign that something during the minting process had shifted. At first, James doubted himself. Could this be mere wear or damage? But as he examined the coin under his loupe, the evidence became clear. This was a minting error known among specialists as a double die. Unlike scratches or post-mint damage, a double die error occurs when the coin's design is stamped twice with slight misalignment, causing certain elements, letters, numbers, or portraits to appear doubled. The 1974 dime, long thought to be a straightforward issue, now revealed a hidden secret that suggested a rare flaw during the die preparation process at the mint. James's pulse quickened. This wasn't just another dime. This was a ticket into a world where rarity could turn pocket change into treasure. He reached out to fellow collectors and experts, sending photographs and details to coin forums and professional graders. Slowly but surely, more examples began to surface. It turned out the error wasn't an isolated incident, but a scarce anomaly produced in limited numbers during the Denver mint run. Enthusiasts debated its rarity. Some claimed it was one of the rarest double die errors for dimes. Others cautioned it might be more common, but overlooked due to subtlety. What began as curiosity deepened into obsession. James pored over auction records and collector archives. The 1974 double die dime, once dismissed as a mere curiosity, began gaining traction in the numismatic community. Early sales fetched modest premiums, a few dollars above face value, but whispers suggested potential far beyond. The coin's value did not surge overnight, but followed a slow, winding ascent as more collectors recognized its uniqueness. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, the 1974 double die dime occupied a curious niche. It wasn't universally recognized like the famous 1955 double die Lincoln cent, nor was it dismissed outright. Instead, its value fluctuated, tied tightly to the ebb and flow of collector interest and the quality of known specimens. Coins with sharper doubling, fewer blemishes, and clear mint marks commanded higher prices, while those damaged or worn remained little more than novelties. The market reflected this nuanced demand, modest auctions here, surprising bids there. For some, the coin was a gateway to the thrill of discovery. For others, a gamble on rarity. Collectors who held onto their coins found their patience tested as the market slowly expanded. Into the early 2000s, numismatic technology advanced, and coin grading services refined their criteria. The 1974 double-die dime, re-examined under new standards, gained renewed legitimacy. High-grade examples, especially those certified by top grading firms, began selling for hundreds, even thousands of dollars. This incremental appreciation startled many who had long dismissed the coin as insignificant. A simple dime, flawed in the moment of creation, had transcended its humble origins. But what exactly made this error so special? The double die effect on the 1974 dime was peculiar in its subtlety yet unmistakable once spotted. The doubling was most prominent on the inscriptions. The date 1974, the words Liberty, and In God We Trust showed faint but distinct shadowing, like echoes frozen in metal. Roosevelt's profile, especially the hair and jawline, bore a slight doubling that gave the coin an unusual depth, almost as if a ghostly second image overlapped the first. Moreover, the rim of the coin wasn't perfectly round. It exhibited a faint but visible rotation, a sign that during striking, the die shifted ever so slightly, producing an off-kilter impression. This combination, doubling with rim misalignment, made the coin one of a kind. It was neither a mass-produced mint error nor a common die clash. Instead, it represented a momentary flaw in the highly mechanical, precise minting process, a slip caught in time, immortalized in metal. That moment's rarity was underscored by the fact that very few such coins have been confirmed and verified, and each specimen bears unique characteristics that make it subtly different from the others. Yet, the story of the 1974 double-die dime holds an unexpected twist. As the market for these error coins grew, a mystery began to emerge surrounding the mint's records. Official documentation from the Denver Mint in 1974 did not mention a double-die issue for the dime. This absence puzzled researchers and fueled speculation. Some suggested the error was deliberately concealed, to avoid public relations issues or to prevent a rush on mint inventory. Others argued it was simply overlooked, an innocent oversight in a chaotic year. But then, a shocking discovery surfaced. A small batch of 1974 double-die dimes had been withdrawn from circulation and melted down, deliberately removed from the public eye. This revelation added a new layer of intrigue. Coins that survived this purge were rarer than initially thought, making each remaining specimen a survivor of a mid-level sweep. For collectors, this scarcity amplified the dime's allure and potential value exponentially. The notion that some of these error coins had been quietly destroyed, while others escaped fate and circulated unnoticed for decades, turned a simple minting flaw into a numismatic legend. The ripple effect of this discovery was immediate. Suddenly, provenance became crucial. Dimes with documented history or linked to known withdrawals skyrocketed in desirability. Provenance, often a vague concept in coin collecting, took center stage. Collectors chased not only the coin, but the story attached. The idea of owning a piece of mint history, a coin that defied destruction, a tangible relic of a secret chapter in U.S. minting.as auctions unfolded over the years. The prices reflected this complex narrative. Early examples sold for a few $100s, then a few thousand, and eventually, rare pristine specimens fetched tens of thousands at specialty sales. In some cases, coins with a well-documented chain of ownership and certified condition achieved near six-figure sums, stunning even veteran numismatists. This transformation from overlooked curiosity to prized collectors' gem illustrates how history, error, and mystery entwine to create value beyond face. Throughout this journey, the 1974 double-die dime serves as a fascinating reminder of the interplay between chance and craft. Each coin tells a story of the mint workers who operated massive presses, of the machinery that slipped imperceptibly, and of the collectors who uncovered and championed its rarity. The coin's value evolution embodies the essence of collecting itself: patient observation, careful study, and a little bit of luck. What started as a slight shadow doubling, unnoticed by millions, became a window into minting imperfections and human error frozen in silver and copper. The rim's gentle rotation, the doubled letters and numbers, and the coin's survival from an unofficial recall all weave together into a tale that captivates both experts and newcomers. The 1974 double die dime is more than metal, it's a symbol of discovery, a testament to perseverance, and a tangible piece of American history that continues to surprise and inspire. For those who hold one today, the coin is a quiet companion from a distant past, a subtle reminder that even in the smallest objects, extraordinary stories can be hidden waiting to be found, examined, and cherished. The allure of this coin lies not only in its rarity, but in the unfolding mystery it carries, a mystery that continues to evolve with each new discovery, each new collector who dares to look closer. And so, the 1974 double die dime remains a quiet legend in the world of numismatics, a small coin with a big secret, forever inviting those who seek to uncover the unexpected beneath the everyday. The year 2001 unfolded under a cloud of quiet optimism and cautious anticipation. The United States, stepping deeper into the new millennium, was caught between the echoes of the 20th century and the promise of the 21st. Political shifts, economic challenges, and technological revolutions all shaped the backdrop of everyday life. Amidst this atmosphere of change, the U.S. Mint continued its time-honored duty of producing the nation's coinage. The humble dime, bearing the profile of Franklin D. Roosevelt since 1946, was no exception. It was a coin so familiar that it often passed unnoticed, a silent companion in countless transactions. Yet beneath its surface lay a story few could have anticipated, a tale spun from the precise mechanics of coin production, an imperceptible flaw that would turn ordinary pocket change into a prized collector's artifact. The 2001 dime, minted predominantly at the Philadelphia and Denver facilities, carried within some of its batch a peculiar error, one that went largely undetected for years, but would ultimately captivate the numismatic community and forever alter the coin's legacy. The U.S. Mint, a fortress of precision and engineering, relies on a complex process to produce each coin. Dies are created from master hubs, designs are meticulously impressed onto metal blanks, and millions of coins roll off the presses daily. But even in this environment of exactitude, imperfections can creep in. Among the most fascinating and sought-after mistakes are double die errors, an anomaly caused when the die itself is struck twice with slight misalignment, imprinting doubled images on the coin's features. The 2001 double die dime is a subtle variant of this phenomenon. Unlike more dramatic double dies of the past, where doubling on portraits or major elements is bold and unmistakable, the 2001 error is a whispered gentle doubling on the date numerals and select inscriptions, almost ghostly in its faintness. This subtlety contributed to its initial obscurity, allowing it to pass unnoticed by many for years. Among those who first uncovered the secret was Laura, a devoted collector with years of experience sifting through coin rolls in search of the unusual. One autumn afternoon, as shafts of golden light filtered through her study window, Laura methodically examined a batch of 2001 dimes. Her practiced fingers and loops swept over familiar details until suddenly, something caught her eye, a faint doubling on the dates 2 and 0. It was slight, but unmistakable, as if the numbers cast a second, blurred shadow beside themselves. Her heart raced, an exhilarating mixture of curiosity and disbelief. Could this be an error? She knew about double dies, but hadn't seen one quite like this before, especially on such a recent coin. Her mind reeled with questions. Was this a one-off mistake? A rare flaw produced by a hiccup in the mint's machinery? Or just a visual illusion created by lighting or wear? Determined, Laura documented the coin with detailed macro photographs and reached out to fellow collectors and numismatic forums. The responses trickled in slowly. Most dismissed it as minor doubling or post-mint damage, but a handful of experienced enthusiasts began to see the same pattern in their own collections. Over months, more examples surfaced, primarily from Philadelphia mint rolls, exhibiting the same doubling traits on the date and inscriptions like Liberty and In God We Trust. The Denver minted dimes, however, remained uniformly free of this doubling. The emergence of these coins sparked a ripple of intrigue in collector circles. What was initially a barely noticeable flaw was beginning to reveal itself as a genuine double die error. The community's excitement grew as they pieced together clues from coin photographs, die analysis, and minting records, though frustratingly, official documentation from the mint made no mention of such an error for 2001 dimes. This silence added to the mystique, leaving room for speculation and theories. Collectors debated the nature of the error's cause. Many pointed to a slight rotation or misalignment during the die hubbing process, the stage where a master hub impresses the design onto working dies. If the hub struck the die twice, but with minimal offset, it could create the faint doubling observed. Others speculated about die wear or improper polishing that left residual doubled impressions. As the years passed, interest in the 2001 double die dime steadily grew, though its value remained modest at first. Early sales of verified examples ranged from just above face value to around $50, depending on condition and visibility of the doubling. Laura, ever patient, held on to her find, watching the subtle crescendo of attention. She knew that rarity combined with clear documentation and authentication would be key in elevating the coin's status. The turning point came in the late 2010s. The rise of professional grading and certification services brought greater legitimacy and awareness to such error coins. As more specimens were submitted to organizations like PCGS and NGC, the Double Die 2001 dime received official designations and population reports. Graded coins with strong doubling and exceptional preservation began fetching several $100s in the marketplace. Laura's own specimen, now graded MS65 by a leading service and displaying vivid doubling on the date and inscriptions, became the centerpiece of her collection. Yet, the coin story was still unfolding. The physical characteristics of the 2001 double die dime are subtle but distinctive. The doubling primarily affects the date, where the numerals 2, 0, and 1 exhibit soft shadows offset slightly to the right and above the original digits. The inscriptions around the rim, especially Liberty on the left and In God We Trust beneath Roosevelt's profile, also show minor doubling, though far less dramatic than the date itself. Roosevelt's visage remains sharp and undistorted, a testament to the limited scope of the die's doubling. Some coins in the batch also show hints of rim doubling or slight die rotation, further complicating the classification. This layering of minor errors, date doubling combined with inscription doubling and rim anomalies, creates a complex profile that appeals to error collectors who prize uniqueness and subtlety. But the narrative took an unexpected turn in 2022. A dedicated collector and researcher unearthed a batch of coins that not only exhibited the well-known double die date, but also revealed a peculiar anomaly in the mint mark, a Philadelphia P that appeared doubled or partially missing. This mint mark error had gone unnoticed for years, hidden beneath surface wear and casual inspection. This revelation opened a new chapter. Suddenly, the 2001 double die dime was part of a broader, more intricate minting irregularity, one involving a multi-error coin that combined date doubling with mint mark doubling. This double die phenomenon was virtually unheard of on dimes and significantly raised the stakes for collectors. The numismatic community was electrified. Coins exhibiting both errors, the double date and the mint mark anomaly, became the new holy grail of the series. Their rarity shot up as fewer examples were confirmed, and authentication became a meticulous process requiring high-resolution imaging and expert scrutiny. Auction prices reflected this shift. While standard double die 2001 dimes continued to command several $100s, those verified with mint mark doubling and rim rotation effects soared into the thousands. Provenance and grading certificates became indispensable, with collectors competing fiercely for authenticated specimens. Laura, ever the vigilant collector, revisited her own coins and identified one that exhibited faint signs of mint mark doubling previously overlooked. This find added a new layer of prestige to her collection and deepened her fascination with the coin story. The journey of the 2001 double die dime encapsulates the unpredictable beauty of minting errors. From a routine coin struck amid the dawn of a new century, it evolved into a symbol of imperfection and intrigue, revealing how mechanical precision can falter in subtle yet profound ways. This coin invites collectors and historians alike to delve beneath the surface to appreciate how a minor doubling of numbers and letters can transform a mundane object into a treasured relic. Each doubling shadow, each mint-marked quirk whispers secrets of the mint's inner workings and the humans behind the machines. In the end, the 2001 double die dime stands as a testament to discovery, patience, and the thrill of the hunt. It reminds us that even the most ordinary coin can carry an extraordinary story, waiting for someone like Laura to uncover its hidden depths and share its legacy with the world. The year 2020 was unlike any other in recent memory. The world was gripped by unprecedented challenges: global health crisis, political upheaval, social transformations. Yet amidst the turmoil, everyday life pressed on with a curious sense of persistence. The clinking of coins, the everyday currency of exchange, remained a constant. Among these coins, the United States Mint produced millions of dimes, tiny metal discs that bore the familiar profile of Franklin D. Roosevelt. This image had adorned the dime since 1946, a tribute to the president's legacy, steadfast and unchanging in the face of the world's evolving narrative. Within the production lines of the Mint, the 2020 dime was struck with precision and speed. But somewhere in the labyrinth of machinery, amidst the hum of presses and the dance of dies, a rare imperfection slipped through, a subtle error that would go unnoticed by most but eventually captivate the most discerning eyes in the numismatic community. The 2020 dime, seemingly ordinary, carried a flaw that whispered of mystery and rarity, a detail only the most attentive could discern. The Mint operates with remarkable exactitude, yet the sheer volume of coins produced annually, billions, in fact means even the smallest glitches can leave their mark. These errors, often dismissed by the casual observer, become treasures for those who see beyond face value. In 2020, the world was distracted by larger matters, but the coins, relentless and ubiquitous, continued to be minted, including a handful bearing an enigmatic mistake, an error that would slowly emerge from obscurity to intrigue collectors. Among the many collectors sifting through rolls of change was David, a seasoned numismatist known for his meticulous attention to detail and an unyielding passion for error coins. One quiet evening, in the soft glow of his study lamp, David examined a batch of 2020 dimes he'd recently acquired. His loupe danced over the surface of each coin, searching for anything out of the ordinary. Then, something caught his eye: a faint, almost imperceptible doubling on the word Liberty and the date. It was subtle but unmistakable, as if a ghostly shadow hovered alongside the letters and numbers. David's pulse quickened. He had seen doubled dies before, but this was different. The doubling was delicate, a whisper rather than a shout, and only visible at a precise angle and under magnification. It was unlike the dramatic doubling seen in famous coins of the past. Could this be a new error? His mind raced through possibilities. Was it a minting anomaly? A die defect? Or perhaps an illusion created by wear or damage? Over the next weeks, David reached out to fellow collectors, posting images and detailed descriptions on numismatic forums. Responses varied. Some dismissed the doubling as normal die wear or a minor strike flaw, but a growing number of enthusiasts began to recognize the pattern in their own collections. Slowly, the 2020 double die dime revealed itself as a genuine error, but one with a delicate subtlety that made it elusive. As David and his peers compared notes, they pieced together the characteristics of this error. The doubling affected primarily the date and the word Liberty on the obverse side. Under close examination, the doubled letters appeared slightly raised and offset, usually shifted to the right and upwards by a fraction of a millimeter. The rest of the coin, the Roosevelt profile, the mint mark, the reverse design, remained unaffected, a clean backdrop highlighting the anomaly. Yet, what made this error even more fascinating was its selective occurrence. The doubling was primarily found on dimes minted at the Philadelphia facility, while those struck in Denver showed no signs of this flaw. This suggested a problem specific to the Philadelphia minting process, a slight misalignment during the die hubbing stage, where the master hub impresses the design onto working dies. If the die was struck twice with a subtle shift, it could explain the delicate doubling seen. Despite the mounting evidence, official acknowledgement from the U.S. Mint was absent. There was no formal release confirming the error, no publicity or warnings. This silence added a veil of mystery that only fueled collectors' fascination. The error became a whispered secret, shared quietly among those who sought it out. David's own collection grew as he hunted for more examples, always searching, always hoping to find a specimen with the clearest doubling. His patience was rewarded when, months later, he secured a near-pristine example graded MS66, where the doubling on the date and Liberty was sharp and vivid under magnification. This coin became the crown jewel of his collection. As word spread and more specimens surfaced, the value of the 2020 double die dime began to climb. Initially, the coin sold for modest premiums, often just a few dollars above face value or standard collector prices. But as the community documented and authenticated more examples, buyers recognized the coin's rarity and uniqueness. By the mid-2020s, grading services had officially recognized the double die variant, providing population reports and designations that helped solidify its place in numismatic catalogs. Collectors now sought certified examples, and auction prices rose steadily. Coins in high grades, with clear and strong doubling, fetched hundreds of dollars, a remarkable increase for a coin so recent and so commonly encountered in circulation. Yet the evolution of the 2020 double die dime's value was not linear. Market interest waxed and waned, influenced by broader economic trends, changes in collector enthusiasm, and new discoveries. Occasionally, an especially well-preserved specimen or one with a more pronounced doubling would spark bidding wars, sending prices into the thousands. These rare instances signaled to the community that this error was not merely a curiosity, but a significant find worthy of serious attention. The physical characteristics of the error itself tell a fascinating story. The doubling on the date is most evident on the numerals 202 and 0, each showing a ghostly offset that seems to shimmer under the loupe. The word Liberty also exhibits the doubling, particularly on the letters Li and T, where slight shadows trail the primary inscriptions. This doubling is subtle enough to evade notice by casual collectors, but to the trained eye, it's a compelling signature of a minting mishap. Interestingly, the reverse side of the coin, featuring the iconic torch, olive branch, and oak branch, remains pristine, free of any doubling or anomalies. This specificity adds to the coin's allure. Only certain elements were affected by the die's imperfect impression, hinting at the intricate mechanics of the minting process. Just when collectors thought they had unraveled the coin's mysteries, a new revelation emerged. A particularly sharp-eyed collector, while examining a batch of 2020 double die dimes, noticed a faint doubling on the rim edge, a barely perceptible doubling of the coin's raised edge ridges. This edge doubling was an entirely unexpected characteristic that complicated the coin's classification. This edge doubling suggested the presence of a rotation error or a second stage doubling on the coin's collar during striking. Such errors are rare and notoriously difficult to identify, but when combined with the already documented double die on the obverse, they created a multi-layered error coin, something that instantly elevated the 2020 dime's rarity and desirability. Collectors scrambled to locate specimens exhibiting this additional doubling. Authentication became an exacting process, requiring microscopic inspection and expert validation. Coins that displayed both obverse doubling and edge doubling began commanding unprecedented prices, some exceeding 4 figures at auction. These double error dimes were hailed as modern marvels, proof that even contemporary coinage can harbor secrets and surprises. David, ever vigilant, was among those fortunate to find an example with this edge doubling. The thrill of uncovering a coin that seemed ordinary in hand, but under scrutiny revealed complex imperfections, reaffirmed his belief in the enduring allure of numismatics. The coin story was no longer just about a faint double date, it was a layered narrative of mechanical quirks, human oversight, and the passage of time. This era coin's journey reflects the intricate dance between mass production and human fascination. The 2020 double die dime, born amid a world in flux, transformed from everyday currency into a symbol of rarity and intrigue. Its story is a testament to the patient eyes of collectors, the mysteries hidden in plain sight, and the unexpected twists that keep the pursuit of coins endlessly captivating. Each doubling shadow, each raised ghost of a letter or number, invites us to look closer, to appreciate the subtle imperfections that turn metal into history. The 2020 dime error, with its faint doubling and secret edge marks, reminds us that even in the digital age, the magic of discovery endures, waiting for those who know how to see.